Hi, thanks for tuning into my channel. I'm Courtney, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how to divide and transplant for an endless supply of chives and all about growing in grow bags and the amazing benefits of adding wool pellets to the soil. Perennial herbs can definitely benefit from dividing and transplanting, and I'm going to be talking about chives today because chives are my absolute favorite herb. I always have to have a supply of chives growing in the garden because they're so versatile. They add amazing flavor to anything from omelets and scrambled eggs to sandwiches and baked potatoes and soups and so many things, and they can be dried and enjoyed in recipes in the wintertime. So having an endless supply of chives in the garden adds so much flavor. And the other thing I love about chives is that they're so robust. They can tolerate stressful conditions. And we actually have these growing in a grow bag because they save space. We don't want to take up space in our raised beds with perennial herbs that are always there. These chives, they die back in the wintertime and they come back in February here in zone 7B, but I believe they're perennial in zones 3 all the way up to zone 9. One of the other things that I love about chives is that you can harvest them way down and they'll grow right back, and they grow right back very quickly. And the growth that does grow back quickly is the most tender growth, which is so good in recipes. Towards the end of the season, though, it's the end of the summer here, you can tell that they're starting to look a little bit scraggly and sad, so they need some rejuvenation. This is a 25-gallon grow bag that I've had out here for 4 years now, so it's starting to show some wear and tear. And because these are perennial herbs, I've had chives growing in these bags the whole time. You can see that they've developed some holes and they're wearing down. So I have a new grow bag that I'm going to put the chives in. This is a 10-gallon grow bag. But one of the really big benefits of growing in grow bags is saving space. We have a big garden with 28 raised beds, and even though we have lots of space, we don't want perennial herbs taking up space in our garden beds. I've had chives growing in my raised beds before, and they end up self-seeding and spreading, so I had chives growing like in the whole entire bed and even outside of the bed, which is amazing because I love chives. But say if I want to plant corn in the bed, or if I want to plant tomatoes in the bed, I'd have to dig up all the chives in order to fit them in there. I like to have them contained. It's just my personal preference. I just like to have them contained in grow bags. So also, if you have a smaller growing space, if you wanted to put these on your patio or on your porch, and as long as there's enough sunlight, you can grow chives in grow bags in a small space. We have two 25-gallon grow bags full of chives right here. And in these 25-gallon grow bags, you could also grow more compact varieties of tomatoes and peppers. Ours happen to be full of chives right here. You can see here that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 nice clumps of chives right here in this grow bag. So if you divide and transplant your chives, you're essentially giving yourself free new chive plants that you can move and plant wherever you want. You can even plant them in a pot and grow them in a sunny spot inside if you'd like to enjoy them in the winter time. So dividing and transplanting not only benefits the plant, but it's really exciting to get brand new plants. The very first step is to actually harvest some chives. So I'm going to start cutting these down so that they're probably just a few inches from the soil like this. And I'm absolutely going to set these aside because I'm planning on bringing them inside and chopping them up and using them in our dinner tonight and breakfast tomorrow. And if you chop them up and keep them in a container in the refrigerator, they'll last for a few days. So I'm just giving these chives a haircut here. This looks like a new clump of chives, so they probably self-seeded and then started over again right here. We have yet another grow bag of chives on the other side of the garden, and I actually haven't harvested these for a while, so you can see the growth that they've got on them. They're still nice and tender though. Okay, this looks pretty nice and clean, so we're going to move on to the next step. Before I start digging up the chive plants, I wanted to talk a little bit more about grow bags, and I'll put a link to this one in the description in case you'd like to check it out. But another thing about grow bags is when you plant plants in them, the roots spread out and they hit the edge of the grow bag, but instead of hitting the edge and then becoming root bound like they do in a ceramic pot or a plastic pot, the roots are actually air pruned because they stop growing when they meet the air on the side of the grow bag. But roots also need air to grow, so grow bags provide air throughout the soil, which means it provides a really healthy environment for the roots. To fill our grow bags, I first use potting soil, and I like this Happy Frog potting soil mix because it's rich and it drains well, and I also use this for seed starting too. So I use 75% potting soil in the grow bags and then 25% compost. And when we don't have our own compost, I buy mushroom compost from a local business. And we can trust that it's chemical free. We know exactly where it comes from. I actually made a video about it that I can link here in case you'd like to watch it. So here's the potting soil that I measured out. And next I'm going to go dig up some compost. So I'm just going to scoop it in here and mix it up. Actually, I probably can just dump it. Next, I'm going to be adding wool pellets to the soil. Wild Valley Farm sent me a bag of their wool pellets to add to my garden soil, and I'm really excited about this because they're actually an amazing fertilizer. They're OMRI listed for organic gardening. Natural wool fibers contain lanolin, which has antibacterial and antifungal properties, decreasing the growth of mold and mildew in your garden. These wool pellets hold 20 times their weight in water, which means they're going to be holding water and nutrients close to the root system in the soil. As these wool pellets expand, they increase the porosity of the soil, creating a healthy growing environment for the roots. Even though chives are really robust, they can still be affected by transplant shock. So by adding these wool pellets that can help regulate moisture, they help reduce transplant shock. And since they can hold moisture, they can also wick away moisture, which means that the chives are going to be less likely to be affected by overwatering. Here comes the fertilizer part. These wool pellets are actually a slow-release natural fertilizer, providing nitrogen to the chives. So they're going to give them a really nice boost as they're getting established in their new grow bag. Here's what you do. You add a half a cup of wool pellets to every gallon of soil, and all you do is simply just mix it into the soil. These are 10-gallon grow bags, but I don't believe we actually have 10 total gallons of soil going into the grow bags. It just filled a 5-gallon bucket up to the top. And I'm just mixing the soil together, the soil and the mushroom compost and the wool pellets together in this tub here. And I'm just going to scoop it right into the grow bag, and then I'm going to plant the chives. Since it is the end of the summer here in our garden in Zone 7B, we still have quite a bit of our growing season to go yet before the chives go dormant for the winter. So this slow release fertilizer from day one is going to give these chives a boost before they go dormant for winter. I'm just scooping my mixture of wool pellets, potting soil, and compost right into the grow bag. You can place these wool pellets on the surface of the soil around your plants, and they work as a slug deterrent, which is very interesting. But if you'd like the benefits of the water regulation and the fertilizer, they need to be pressed into the soil. So if you apply them to the surface of the soil surrounding your plants, you want to press them down into the soil. Now that we have our grow bag all ready to go, we're going to start dividing these chives. Here's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to take my soil scoop and I'm going to start to loosen the soil up around this clump of chive plants here. And I'm going to slowly lift them out. We don't really have to be super careful with chive plants because they're so robust. They're actually a bunch of little bulbs, which I'll show you in just a minute. Here they are. Beautiful. So I'm going to take them and I'm going to divide them up into groups of 3 to 4. They're really easy to divide here. So here are 2 groups of 4 right here. Just going to place them here so they're all ready to go. Here, or tiny chive plants, and probably too many then can fit in this grow bag. So I'll be planting these elsewhere, but let's start planting the ones that we have separated here, and then I'm just going to do this by hand. I'm just going to dig a hole that is deep enough for the roots to go down into and simply push my soil mixture up around the plant. A couple more important things to do before we're completely done transplanting these brand new chive plants, but I'll get to that in just a second. I just wanted to show you how many we still have left over. There are a bunch of them still left over that we can give to neighbors or friends or plant them elsewhere in the garden. So you just get so many brand new plants from splitting your chive plants every single year or every other year or every few years. I'm going to be placing this grow bag directly on the lawn because it can wick up moisture a lot easier from the lawn than it can on these concrete blocks. Because one thing you do have to be careful of with grow bags is that they do dry out quicker, so you have to keep an eye on them. That's where these wool pellets come in too. They hold lots of valuable water, so that's going to be reducing watering time, and I'm really excited about that. I'm just going to add some mulch around these new chive plants. That's also going to help the soil hold on to moisture. We've been using pine straw for 10 years now, and we have not had an issue with it altering the pH of the soil, so I keep on using it because it's easy for us to get and it's a good natural mulch. And last but not least, water. I'm going to water these in really, really well for the first time. This video was shot a week after transplanting and the new plants were already thriving and showing signs of new growth. This video was shot a couple of weeks after transplanting and you can see all the new growth happening there. It's been about a month and we've been regularly harvesting chives from lots of new growth. There has been very little rain, but the soil hasn't been drying out nearly as quickly due to the addition of the wool pellets. Early fall is a great time to divide your perennial herbs so they can get established before they go dormant for the winter. I would highly recommend grow bags and adding wool pellets to the soil. Thank you for watching. Wherever you are in your gardening journey, I hope you enjoyed this video and hope you'll join me again in the garden. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons.